Hello everyone. In this lecture, we will solve an interesting DI set, and you can expect this kind of DI set getting asked in IRDAI prelims examination, right? So if you look at the DI set, says that there are 4 hostels A, B, C and D. In hostel A, number of boys are 120 and number of girls are 30% more than that of number of girls in hostel B. So there are few given data related to each hostel in hostel A, in hostel B, in hostel C and in hostel D, right? So we will have to use all the given data to find out the number of boys and girls in each hostel separately, right? And hopefully we will be able to answer each question. So if you read, this is hostel A, hostel B, hostel C and hostel D, right? And this is boys and this is for girls. Now if you read about the hostel A, it has been given that in hostel A, number of boys are 120, right? So in hostel A, number of boys are 120 and number of girls are 30% more than that of number of girls in hostel B. Do we know the number of girls in hostel B? No, we don't know. So we will have to assume that number of girls in hostel B is X, right? So number of girls in hostel B is X. Now it has been given that number of girls are 30% more than X, right, in hostel A. So basically in hostel A, number of girls is 1.3x. Why we have written 1.3x? Because it has been given that the number of girls in hostel A is 30% more than the number of girls in hostel B, and we have assumed that number of girls in hostel B is X. So obviously X into 130 divided by 100, right? Because this value is 30% more, so 1.3x. Now we will look at the hostel B. It has been given that in hostel B, number of boys are double than that of number of girls. Do we know the number of girls in hostel B? Yes, we know that this number is X. And now it has been given that number of boys are double, right, in hostel B. So obviously this value is 2x, right? Now if you look at hostel C, number of boys are 100 more than the number of boys in hostel A. Do we know the number of boys in hostel A? Yes, the number of boys in hostel A is 120, and it has been given that in hostel C, the number of boys is 100 more than that of boys in hostel A. So obviously this value is 120 plus 100. 120 plus 100 is what? Means that this value is 220. Simple. 120 plus 100, that is equal to 220. Now if you read further, it has been given that in hostel C, total boys and girls, total total number of boys and girls in hostel C is 1000, right? And if this value is 220, so basically this value is 780. How did we find this value? Simple. 1000 minus 220, that is equal to 780, because we know that the number of boys and girls in hostel C is 1000. So basically that value is 780. 1000 minus 220, right? Now let us read about the hostel D. The hostel D says that the number of boys is 182 more than the number of boys in hostel A. Do we know the number of boys in hostel A? Yes, that number is 120. So basically 120 plus 182, and if you add 120 and 182, you will get 302. So now we know the number of boys in hostel D is simple, 302. But we don't know anything about the number of girls in hostel D. But there are few data, right? And hopefully after using that data, we will be able to find the number of boys and girls in each hostel separately. So now if you look at the data, average of number of girls of hostel A and that of hostel D is 223. Okay, average of number of girls of hostel A. Okay, do you know the number of girls in hostel A? That is 1.3x. That is obviously 1.3x, and that of hostel D means the number of girls in hostel D, and we know nothing about the number of girls in hostel D. So let us assume that this value is y. We are assuming that this value is y. Can we write that 1.3x plus y divided by 2, that is equal to 223. We are using this data. Average of number of girls of hostel A and that of hostel D. What is the meaning of that of hostel D? It means the number of girls in hostel D, right? And this average is 223. We know that this is 1.3x and we have assumed that this is y. So we are able to write 1.3x plus y divided by 2, that is equal to 223. See, now we have an equation in x and y, right? Now if you read further, number of boys in hostel D is 98 less than that of boys in hostel B. Okay, it has been given that this value 302, this value 302 is 98 less than that of boys in hostel B. Means this value 302, this value 302 is 98 less than 2x. What does it mean? It means that 2x minus 98, that is equal to 302. If you read the last line, if you are able to represent the last line in some mathematical way, you will write 2x minus 98 equal to 302. So basically you can say 2x equal to what? 2x equal to 400. So basically x equal to what? X equal to 200. Now we know the value of x. Now we know the value of x. If the value of x is 200, can you say that this value is also 200? Why? Because this value is x. Now we have found the value of x, that is equal to 200. So obviously this value is also equal to 200. And if the value of x is 200, can we say that 2x is equal to 400? Yes, we can say. Simple. Why? Because the value of x is 200. So 2x equal to 2 into 200, that is equal to 400. So can we find the value of 1.3x? Yes, 1.3x is what? 1.3x is 1.3 into 200, and if you multiply 1.3 and 200, you will get 260, right? So basically this value is also equal to 260. Okay, now you know that this value is 260. 1.3x is equal to 260. Now let us look at this equation, that 1.3x plus y divided by 2, that is equal to 223. So can we write it in this way, that 1.3x plus y, and that is equal to 446, right? But we know about the value of x, and we also know about the value of 1.3x, that is equal to what? That is equal to 260. So basically 260 plus y equal to 446. So basically y equal to 446 minus 260, right? So obviously that value is equal to 186. So this value is what? This value is equal to 186. Now we know the number of boys and girls in each hostel separately. See, the number of boys in hostel is 120, the number of girls is what? 260. The number of boys in hostel B is 400, and the number of girls in hostel B is 200. The number of boys in hostel C is 220, number of girls is 780. The number of boys in hostel D is 302, and the number of girls in hostel D is 186. So many students are usually stuck at this point, that okay, if you read this line, you are not able to understand that how can we find the value of x and y separately. But whenever you are stuck in this kind of situation, you don't have to stop at that thing. You have to read the next lines. Maybe after solving the next lines, you will be able to find the value of y separately. We have assumed the value of the number of girls in hostel D is y, right? So now we have created the complete table, so we will be able to answer the question correctly. Okay, so now we are going to erase all of these things. Let us look at the question. Question says the difference between number of boys and girls in hostel D. Difference between number of boys and girls in hostel D, that is what? See, what is the difference? 302 minus 186. So basically this value is equal to what? This value is equal to 116. 12 minus 6 is 6, then 9 minus 8 is 1, so 2 minus 1 is 1. So this difference is what? 114. Is what percent of difference between boys and girls in hostel B? Now we have to look at the difference between the number of boys in hostel, number of boys and number of girls in hostel B, right? So 400 minus 200, that is obviously equal to what? 200, right? Now you have to answer that 116 is what percentage of 116 is what percentage of 200. So if you are good at calculation, you will be able to answer immediately that the correct answer is 58%, right? Or suppose if you are not good at calculation, you will have to assume that okay, 116 is x percentage of 200, 116 is x percentage of 200. So simple, 200 into x divided by 100, that is equal to 116. Two zeros will cancel each other, then 2 into 5, 2 into 8, so x equal to 58%. See, you can expect this kind of DI calculate in IRDAI prelims exam, right? There will be few given lines. Maybe you will find that there is a company, there are multiple departments, and male and female are working in each department, right? And in this DI set, there are few hostels, there are few boys and girls in each hostel. You have to read each line, you have to represent that line in some mathematical way such that you can create a complete table, right? So the correct answer is 58%. Now let us look at next question. The next question says, find difference between total number of boys and girls together in hostel A and that in hostel D. So basically you have to add this value and you have to add this value, and then you have to find the difference. So 120 plus 260 is what? 120 plus 260 is simple, 380, and this value is what? This value is 488, right? So obviously what is the difference? The difference is 108. Okay, that value is present in option A. I am not able to, yeah, that value is present in option A. See, 108. Find difference between total number of boys and girls together in hostel A. So obviously this value is 380 and this value is 488. So the difference is 108, that is present in option A, right? Once you create this kind of table, you will be able to answer each question correctly and quickly. Now, what is the next question? The next question is, find ratio of total number of boys and girls together in hostel B to that of in hostel C. Find ratio of total number of boys and girls together in hostel B. Okay, this is your hostel B, right? And what is the total number of boys and girls? That is 600. And look at this value. This value is equal to what? This value is equal to 1000. So basically, you have to answer that 600 divided by 1000 is equal to 3 by 5. So obviously 3:5. So option A is the correct answer. See, you will have to read this kind of words carefully such that you shouldn't do silly mistakes in this kind of questions. Now if you read this question, if 20 boys from each hostel left their hostel, then find the average of remaining number of boys in all the hostels. Okay, if 20 boys left, the number of boys will be what? 100. If 20 boys left, 380. 20 boys left, 200. 20 boys left, so 282. Now you have to find the average, right? This is a simple question. So obviously 100 plus 300 is what? 400. 400 plus 200 is what? 600. 600 plus 200 is what? 800. 800, right? Then 80 plus 80 is what? 160, and plus 2 is what? 162. So basically if you add all of these values, you will find 962. And how many hostels? 4 hostels. So 962 divided by 4. So obviously this value is equal to 240.5, right? You will have to do that calculation, right? Then only you will be able to save time to solve other questions of quant and the questions of other sections, right? Because in this exam you get the composite time, right? So you should try to work on increasing your speed when it comes to quant, when it comes to dealing with DI sets, right? So the correct answer is option 4. Now the next question is, total number of boys in hostel A, okay, total number of boys in hostel A and that of girls in hostel C is what percent more than number of boys in hostel B, okay. Number of boys in hostel A, what is number of boys in hostel A? That is 120, and that of girls in hostel C, okay, number of girls in hostel C is what? 780. So basically 120 plus 780, this value is equal to 900, right? Now if you read further, is what percent more than number of boys in hostel B? Number of boys in hostel B, what is the number of boys in hostel B? That value is equal to 400. So basically you have to answer 900 is what? 900 is what percent is more than number of boys in hostel B? I have told you earlier many times. Let's see, to be good at DI sets, you will have to be good at calculation, percentage and average, right? So basically 900 is what percentage more than 400? So 900 is how much more than 400? This is 900 is 500 more than 900 is 500 more than 400. See, you have to answer with respect to number of boys in hostel B. So basically now the question is 500 is what percentage of 400? Now the question is 500 is what percentage of 400? If you are good at calculation, you will be able to answer 125 percentage, right? But even if you are not good at calculation, you can do simple things. 500 is what percentage of 400? Earlier the question was 900 is what percentage more than 400, right? So obviously 500 more than, so simple, suppose 500 is x percentage of 400, so simple, 400 into x divided by 100, that is equal to 500, simple, 4 into 125, so the correct answer is 125. See, everyone simplify this kind of things in his own way, right? So the correct answer is 125 percentage. Option 2 is the correct answer. Hopefully all of you learned something new in today's lecture, and you can expect 3 to 4 DI sets in quant section in IRDAI exam. So I will suggest you that you should target the DI sets at the beginning, because if you solve one DI set, you will be able to solve 4 to 5 questions in one DI set, right? Obviously you will have to clear the sectional cutoff for each subject, right? Quant, reasoning, English and GA. So obviously if you target the DI sets, you will hopefully get 15 to 20 questions in DI sets. If you solve those 20 questions, hopefully it will be enough for you to clear the sectional cutoff as well, right?